In this activity, we'll put a row of very pale trees in the background, and then we'll bring our big dark gum tree forward to give us high contrast. I'm painting on canvas, and our finished picture will end up about this size. We'll fill this area here with our painting. We'll start with a white in the bottom of our sky, plenty of white, not too far up, and fill that area with white paint. That's the undercoat for our sky. Plenty of paint, and get used to using the crisscross brush stroke at the top of the sky and the long brush stroke at the bottom of the sky. Then we'll pick up a little bit of burnt umber and put it right in the corner of our painting and crisscross it over towards the middle. Clean the brush and start from the other corner. You'll notice that the paint fades as we come towards the middle. We can have it pale in the middle and very dark in the corners. Then with a long brush stroke we'll blend it down into the white but not down into the bottom. Don't worry about your streaks or brush strokes, as long as they're horizontal. They look a bit like clouds. And we do the same on the bottom, very dark along the bottom, and blend it up into the white. Bring it up at the edges a little bit, not much, just a little bit, but make sure that you keep the white. There's a little bit of paint missing there, so I'll put some on there. And then dab, dab, dab with our fan brush, backwards and forwards, right across the background, but make sure you do start back there. And then move down into the dark, and of course, when we get into the dark, we have bigger brush strokes up and into the picture. We can add a darker tone here. We'll add some more burnt umber, and then bring it up into the picture with our grass, big dark grass. Now, back here we'll put some trees. I load my size 10 flat brush with a rather pale tone of burnt umber and paint in the trees. Now we'll leave these trees rather misty looking and they'll look a long way away. Don't make them too big and bring them up a little bit on the edges. Take them right across the horizon line and up a little bit on the edge and slightly darker on the edges of the painting. Then with our little round brush loaded with white and held with just 2 fingers, we can place in the branches for these background trees. Don't put them all exactly the same distance apart. You won't see all of them, some of them you can't quite see, but that's okay. I want you to watch closely how I unload this little round brush loaded with white paint. Holding it with 2 fingers, I twist the brush to make the paint come off. Don't dip down at the edge, try and dip it up slightly. Then you'll notice that that little white line attracts your eye well back into the picture. Now for our big tree and where to put the big tree. Find the middle, work out about where you want it. Let's keep it about 1/4 of a way across and leaning into the picture. This is a medium-sized hog bristle brush loaded on the tip on one side with white paint, and you notice how I roll it as I bring it down to get the paint to come off. Then we'll add the darks. Be careful, don't start on the horizon line, start in between something. Just plaster the dark on and don't go back over it. Then we can detail it with our little brush loaded with dark and light. Push it up, down, that'll give you bark coming off the tree. And then unload your brush under the tree to give us some twigs. Now by loading the brush with dark and light, we can easily paint in a tree trunk in one brush stroke. You'll get the very round effect with that one brush stroke. You should practice this brush stroke. Then with dark paint we'll finish off the bottom of the tree. A little soft brush again loaded with 2 colours, twiddle some branches in. Hold the brush with 2 fingers, twiddle the branch around and bring them down into the picture. They can go up, but they must come up and then down into the picture, so it'll attract your eye into the picture. You can practice this also. Clean the brush and load it with 2 colours again, dark and light. And we'll paint our log. Bring the log towards you, squashing the brush on harder as it comes towards you. Have the white on the top. Then with our little round brush we can darken the hole in the log and add a few twigs. Make sure your twigs are very dark and white so they stand out against the background. Then your log will come to life by touching up the grass around the bottom of it. Just put your fan brush on and push it up. That's our log. Now we'll prepare our round hog bristle brush ready for painting foliage. Saturate it in the burnt umber paint and try to get this chisel point in the brush. It's a putty-like brush by now. Add plenty of white to one side, just like that. And then we can paint the foliage on the trees. Each of these dabs is a little mushroom shape. And by arranging the mushroom shapes into semicircles or umbrella shapes, you'll have what looks like foliage. I'll put the foliage over the top of this tree to stop it look like it disappears up through the top of the picture. Don't go back over your work. Try to get a crispy brush stroke each time. If it's getting muted, clean your brush and reload it. Now with a little soft haired brush loaded with both colours, twiddle on some branches in between the groups of foliage. And a few bits of bark hanging down off the tree always looks good, especially on the Australian gum trees as they shed their bark every year. Now to save wasting paint, let's just unload our brush down here with a few little branches on the ground, and I'd like to put a bird on there maybe, so let's have a prominent twig. You can leave your painting like that, or you can put in a little tree in the background. I want to put it in here to show you that this little tree in the background is much paler than the tree in the foreground. So use a more delicate brush stroke and make sure that it's paler than the foreground tree. I'll sign my painting, and that's our big gum tree in brown.